Hi there, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I have some wedding cards to share with you today. Hey everybody, so I am using Jaded Blossom's Fancy Heart dies, their Doily dies, their panel dies, their Fancy Wedding stamp set, and their rectangle dies, and also stitch square dies. I'm also using cut cardstock's Basis Natural 80-pound cardstock, along with the Die Cuts with a View foiled vellum, American Crafts Christmas foil stack, and Authentique's Irresistible 12-inch paper line. So I have Simon Says Stamp 120-pound cardstock cut at 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches with my Teflon bone folder, my Martha Stewart scoreboard. And I'm just going to be adding the rectangle, which is 4.25 by 5.5 with stitching from that rectangle dies. And I'm just adding that to the front of my card base with my ATG tape. Now, the Basis Natural cardstock is kind of like a creamy vanilla, and I wanted it to be a little bit more creamy, and I didn't have anything that was, a high enough weight that I would like it for a card base. So this is what I'm doing. I'm improvising. So now this is a piece of black cardstock from American Crafts cut to 3.5 inches, and that perfectly frames out our stitched panel dies. So I went ahead and I ran a bunch of patterns from that Authentique paper line, Irresistible, through my Gemini machine with the panel dies, and I cut out a bunch of different patterns. And basically I'm just mixing them up, and I went ahead and made 8 wedding cards. My son actually needed a card for a wedding he was going to, so I thought I was getting low on my wedding cards, so I thought I would just crank out a bunch. So that's what I did. So I go ahead and I basically assemble 8 of these. Now I don't show you that I do them all, but I do. There we are. So I just showed you me putting one together. I'm just trying to keep things centered. And I do put an acrylic block on top of it just to dry. There we go. So now I have my Bow Easy tool, and I'm using, this is just cream colored ribbon with gold accents from Michaels. This is old ribbon that I just had on hand. And I'm going to quickly tie myself some bows. I'm kind of off screen there, but it's really simple using a Bow Easy, and you can crank out some pretty standard size bows with it for your cards. So there I am, and look how far off, I'm sorry guys, I didn't realize I was so far off screen. I thought I was right in the middle, but this is what happens, right? So there we go. So now I'm going to be adding a piece of ribbon across the bottom of this little element. So I'm going to add, I'm lining it up on my Stampin' Up! Pad. I just want to get the ribbon even across my little base, not really card base, whatever this is, the little, like the panel dies stuck down to a square. And I'm just sticking them down with some ATG tape. And now I'm using a glue dot. Now, when you're going to do a fake bow tie, you want to scrunch in the ribbon underneath to make it look like it's tied, because if it's going straight across and you just have a bow sitting on top, it looks fake. It doesn't look like you've tied it. So you kind of want to fake it out. Now I'm using a glue dot to add my bow on top, and look, it kind of looks like it's tied. Tricky. So now I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiments on the lower right hand corner of my cards using the Fancy Wedding stamp set. I'm going to use all different sentiments from this stamp set and my VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink, along with my Misty, because sometimes you need to stamp more than once and you want to get a really good stamped image. I'm really picky about things being clear and not fuzzy, or I just want a really nice stamped image. And that Misty helps me out with that. Because like I said, I'm a little bit obsessed with things being clear and straight. And there we go. So basically I'm just stamping all of the different sentiments on this card base. This is a great stamp set for wedding cards, I find. And it has like a really pretty font I quite like. And, you can make some nice contemporary wedding cards with it. So there we are. Now I don't use cream a lot in my card creating, but it really went with my background paper better than the white. So that's what I went with. And it's kind of got this card stock from Cut Cardstock, that Basis Natural 80-pound. It's got a really nice, it almost feels like linen. It's a beautiful cardstock. And there we go. So you'll notice that in my upper right-hand corner there, I have the little gold hearts. Now I used that American Crafts Christmas foil and I ran it through with my fancy heart die and popped out all my hearts. And I'm going to be using those for some embellishments on my cards. I love the stitching. I love that they are different sizes, which is nice for when you're, you know, adding them to the front of your card base. And yeah, that fancy heart die, I use it all the time for this. It's a great die set actually. There we are. So I'm just finishing up my stamping with my MISTI, adding all of my sentiments to the bottom of my card base. So I used happiness always on your wedding day, to have and to hold, wishing you a lifetime of love and happiness, for the bride and groom, always and forever, to the happy couple, and to have and to hold. I don't know if I said that. I made two of to have and to hold because I kind of like the look of that sentiment. There we go. So now I am adding all of those sentiments to my card base. I guess I didn't have to show you all of these, but I sort of did because it's kind of almost off screen. It's just in the lower corner there. I need to raise the height of my my video, obviously, of my camera because I'm a little bit too close up, I think. There we are. But, you know, really cute little card set. And, you know, like I said, if you're making one, you might as well make a few. Might as well pull out your stuff and make a few. If you have enough paper, go for it. So now I'm going to stamp the interior of my cards. And all I'm going to put on the interior is congratulations from that same stamp set. And I'm just lining that up in my MISTI. And then I will stamp it with the same VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And I'm just going to show you me just doing one of them. And, oh, wait a second. What does that say? Yeah, congratulations. There we go. And now I'm going to add a stripe of ATG tape across the bottom. And I'm going to add 1-inch strips of scrap cardstock from that same same paper line, Authentique Irresistible 12-inch. It's kind of like a black and cream wedding line, actually. But it's you can't tell it's really wedding. It's very, you know, it's more pattern based. There we go. So that's what I'm going for. Now I'm going to assemble my card. So I'm going to add this black square with my ATG tape. And I'm going to put it in the lower right-hand corner, as close to the sentiment as I can without, you know, covering up the sentiment. And I want a little bit of space from the right-hand side of the card. And there we go. So kind of pretty. So now I'm going to be doing some layering. So this is that vellum stack from Die Cuts with a View. It's called Foiled Vellum Stack. And I cut the largest doily out using my Gemini machine. And I kind of cut them in half, sort of. And now I'm going to be I added this one with some glue, but I end up using a mini stapler in the long run. And this is what I'm doing. I'm not on the screen, of course. Again, I'm being a bad videotaper, but I'm just added 3 staples, mini staples along the edge of where the stitching is on that stitched rectangle die in the background. And now I'm going to add my foil heart with some 3M foam tape. And then I will put that on my little card. And there we go. I end up just going ahead and using, excuse me, I'm yawning. I end up going ahead and just using the mini stapler from now forward. I didn't like how the glue kind of made little bumps in the little gold foiled dots on that vellum, but I'm sure it'll flatten out once it dries. But I thought, no, I'm not going to take the risk. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So now I'm going to be adding the little gold hearts to the front of my card. I'm just adding 2 more. You know, so you've got the large heart, and then you've got 2 other ones. So, you know, you've got a visual triangle going on in your card. And I'm using Stampin' Up! Dimensionals just to pop those up. And I think this is a really nice, clean and simple wedding card. I quite like the look of how this turned out. And you can make a lot of cards really fast, I find. So there we go. So now I'm putting together another one. You can see how quickly it is to put it together. And adding my ATG tape to the back of that, That's American Crafts black cardstock. It's got a bit of a texture. You don't really see it too much because it is covered with the stitched panel dies. So there we go. Doing the same thing, allowing room for that sentiment. And then I'll be adding my foiled vellum to the side. And I will staple it along the stitching line on that vanilla cardstock, just using my mini stapler. So I'll just add 3 staples. I quite like the mini stapler. This one is from, I think, Close to My Heart, but it's just like the Tim Holtz mini stapler. Like, they're all the same. They're great little staplers. And there we go. Now I just trim off the overhang of that vellum. Then I will add my foiled heart onto my card base. And then we will be in business to pop this up onto the card. I thought these were really cute, actually. You know, something kind of fun. My cat is in here visiting me. He's mad, so he's scratching my chair right now. It's the only chair in the house that he doesn't get in trouble for scratching. It's just an old desk chair that I sit on in my craft room. There we go. And now I'm adding that heart to my front of my card base. There we go. So I quite like how that looks. And then, like I said, I will add the hearts with my Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. So like I said, super easy. Now you could make these for birthdays, use different patterns, would be fun. I think it's a fun little card layout. And you could easily use it for any occasion, really. But I needed to add to my wedding card stash. I was getting kind of low on wedding cards. So I thought I might as well make a big stack of them, right? And as you can see, I'm just sort of putting everything together. So fun stuff. Do you guys do that? Do mass create cards? Come up with a card design and make a bunch? Or do you kind of make one-offs all the time? I kind of go back and forth. I'll sometimes make one-offs, but if I'm making something like I said, for wedding or thank you cards, I tend to make like a bunch of them at once. But funny enough, my Christmas cards tend to be more one-offs than mass production, even though I do give a lot of Christmas cards out. It doesn't really make sense, but it's just the way I create, I guess. There we go. So like I said, adding the little hearts on for a little bit of visual triangle there. So easy stuff. Working on my Stampin' Up! Pad as always. And there we go. So now on the inside, I'm going to be adding a strip. This is the Close to My Heart. It's kind of like a gold tape. And I'm just going to add a stripe of that across the inside of the card, just to sort of, add a little bit of glitter inside. There we go. And like I said, I'm not sure if I said from Close to My Heart this gold tape was from. I've got it in silver, gold, and like copper, actually. I just never think to use it. There we go. But it looks pretty in there. There we go. Now, this is what the cards turned out to be. And I did add the little foil hearts on the inside, my leftover ones, for a little bit of decoration. But that's what I was going for. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog and hop on over to their store and check out these amazing products. So we'll see you soon, everyone. Bye.